Hello, this is a study guide for test number 3. The main thing I would suggest would be to look over some of the homework assignments you've done. Test number 3 covers chapters 14 through 20, and if you look in the back of your course pack you'll see some sample questions there. But here's a quick summary of the different types of things that are going to be on the test. Chapter 14 has 14 problems. Some of them are algebra problems that ask you to simplify or to solve for x. And then 8 of them are word problems, things like calculating averages or calculating the cost or the tax. There's also a problem that has to do with mixing juices and another problem that has to do with mixing coins. The questions about chapter 15 are mostly multiple choice, things like the definitions of similar and congruent. Also, there's a problem or two about calculating sides using similarity. I know a little bit about Euclid's elements and the perimeter, how to calculate perimeter and area of rectangles. Now, the most efficient rectangle is a square. It uses the least perimeter for the most area. Alright, for chapter 16 there aren't any questions on the test for chapter 16. It was about flatland and you wrote a paper for that. Your test score will appear on Blackboard when that's finally graded. For chapter 17, it was all one kind of problem. Basically, find one side of a right triangle if you're given one side and one angle. Now, there are 4 basic steps to do this. First of all, you name the sides of the triangle, the opposite, the adjacent, and the hypotenuse. Then you choose the right ratio, the sine, cosine, or tangent. Now remember, you can use that word SOHCAHTOA to remind yourself of what the ratios are. I'm not going to give you that on the test, so you'll have to remember those. Then write the equation, and then solve the equation for x, and that will give you the answer. So there are 6 problems like this on the test. For chapter 18, there are 6 problems that have to do with using formulas. For example, Kepler's law. T equals 0.000546 d to the 1.5. You don't have to memorize that, but you do have to know how to use it. D is the distance in millions of kilometers, and T is the time in years. There are also formulas for falling objects, where V is the velocity, T is the time, and S is the distance fallen. But again, I will give you those formulas on the test. You just need to know how to use that. There's also a question or two about average speed, and remember, average speed is just the total distance divided by the total amount of time. Chapter 19 was about Renaissance art and perspective drawing, so look in the back of the book for some sample types of questions, some multiple choice type questions I might ask about those topics. Chapter 20 is about graphing lines. There are 8 problems on the test about graphing lines. The equation of a straight line is the main topic, and in order to write the equation for a line, you need to first of all know the slope of the line. The slope of the line you can find by taking 2 points and subtracting the y values, then divide by the x values of those 2 points. That gives you the slope. Sometimes you have other clues about the slope. For example, if a line is parallel to another line, then the slopes are equal. If 2 lines are perpendicular, then the slopes are negative reciprocals. Now you can write the equation of a line using the point-slope form, in which you need the slope, which is m, and 1 point, and you plug that into where the red x and the red y are. You can also use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. That means how high is the line when it crosses the y-axis. So you don't have to draw any graphs on the test, but you do have to be able to write the equations of straight lines and understand the equations. And I'm not going to give you the point-slope form or the slope-intercept form, so you need to memorize these forms right here. Remember that there are sample questions at the end of the course pack, and also that you can go to the class webpage at math.biola.edu/math120, and there are homework help videos there that will give you some examples of how to do some of the problems from chapters 17, 18, and 20. Okay, so I hope that gives you some idea of what to study, and I hope you do well on the test. I will see you then.